Hi beauties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please do not forget to subscribe, like my videos, and also turn on your notification bell. On this video, I'll be showing you how to make a glueless frontal wig from the scratch. So this is a step-by-step video on how to make glueless frontal wig from the scratch. So I am making this wig for myself, and the first thing I did was to measure my head size. You need to know your head size measurement to know the kind of cap you're doing and to also know the fitting. Your head size will give you that guideline. So I have a video also on YouTube where I made a 5x5 glueless closure wig, and that part I did the measurement. So you can go down my videos and check for that video, and then you see how to do your head measurements. So, but I'm doing a frontal wig. And the first thing when doing a frontal wig is to make sure that the earlobes part are outside. So you don't want, in the past when I didn't know so much about wigging, I used to fix the hair cap down to the tip of the frontal. So when you cut it off, it will be interfering and the frontal will not balance. So, but you need this earlobe to be out for adjustment in case the lace is too much and it needs to be reduced. This earlobe allowance will allow it to be reduced, and also the earlobe allowance will give it lapping on your edges, your ear edges. So it comes out a bit, and then the band starts from the back of your ear, just as you're seeing here. I'm just giving a little more um tutorial or little more tips on how to do this. So I'll be sewing 200 gram bone straight wig with this frontal for myself. So come along and see what I'm doing. Of course, I'll be dropping in tips as we're going. I'll be saying, I'll be talking. So, but for now, just come along and see what I'm doing. Notice how I intentionally um used the hair clip to clip the hair so that we don't have hairs flying into the thread and disrupting our work. On this part, I think the video cut off initially. I said I was going to allow this video, the original video, to play out. I don't know why I changed my mind, although the sound wasn't so good. So reason why I changed my mind and I'm doing a voiceover for this. But on the original video, the unedited copy, the raw file has a very detailed because I was talking as I was working. So, but that is by the way. So I used hair clip to clip the hairs to avoid hairs flying, and I'm going to start the hair. If you see, I also put like a description using my own face, my ear size to do a description for my earlobe. So yeah, now we're about to start. And one thing I'm starting with is a strong base in terms of thread. So what I another advancement that is currently in vogue is that you would not like your threads to be flying. So when you have threads flying outside the wig, if you're wigging for a client or you're wigging for yourself, it looks bad, and then you get tempted to cut it, and by the time you cut one, you make a mistake and you cut a track, the hair start loosening up, and it's going to be a disaster. So it is better to have a very strong base from the scratch, from the foundation of making the wig. If you notice, currently I'm putting the thread in from beneath, so underneath the cap, because that's where I'm going to do the first tying. So I'll tie it down there because I don't want threads flying. Like I said earlier, flying threads are like red flags when it comes to wig making. So I don't want my threads flying. So yeah, I'll tie it underneath, and after tying it, then I'll move over to sewing the wig. So this is me just showing you how neat it is from as a result of tying it from underneath. It is very clean. The sewing is very neat. I'm trying to show you how it is. There are no flying threads. You would not even know that this was a hand sewn. Of course, when you see the track, you see that it's a hand sewn wig, but then it's not giving a hand sewn wig vibe because there are no flying threads. Have I mentioned that one of the perks of doing sewing a wig manually is that the threads get tangled? I was expressing my frustration at this part of the video because I'm like, this is what happened. And sometimes when you're not careful, the thread tangles, you have to now roll up a different thread and needle for it because that one will be useless and it can be frustrating and time consuming. So notice how I am passing my thread. Notice how I'm passing the needle and passing the thread because this is very important. So in the past, I used to do it the other way around. So currently, I changed my style. So I sew it like this, and it's been especially for the closure or the frontal parts, the lace. Sewing it like this makes it firmer and stronger and makes it neater. So there are no, it doesn't look, will I say, ugly, or they are not, doesn't look too busy or ugly or dirty. It looks clean, kempt, and professional. So notice how I'm passing the thread. After this pass, I'm going to show you how clean it is. So look at it. Look at how clean it is. So this is just the beginning. No flying threads, clean tracks, of course. Try to imagine what the end of this week would be like. Believe me, I have right now at this point of making this video, I have gotten to the styling part. I plucked the closure already and I am super excited. So closure plucking will be on the next video. But then I'm super excited because I was on live. I was live. I was streaming live while plugging that closure, and the reactions I got, people were super excited. Like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's so good. A friend of mine that was on the live actually called me. Say, madam, please, you do my wig like you did yours. So I'm like, bring it on. Of course. Why am I here? So yeah, it was so good. So doing it at seeing the beginning stage, I'm feeling like this skills. It's either you know or you know. So let me not get too excited. Let me concentrate on the video. So just put your focus on, like I said, this is going to be a detailed video on how to do a frontal, and I'm taking it one step at a time. No fast forward of this video whatsoever. So I'm taking it one step at a time. I'm going slowly so you can see it and you can learn. So if you are a wig maker or an aspiring wig maker or somebody who loves to make hairs for herself by herself, please you can as well tap into tap into this and watch this video. And of course, like I said, I'll be dropping tips as we go along. Yeah, so I'm here to ask you if you can see the tracks. That's what I'm here to ask. Can you see the tracks? Can you see how clean they are? Looking clean, looking clean, looking professional. And also, this is the second earlobe, the second ear edge or earlobe part of the hair. So just like I did for the left angle, is the same way I did for the right angle. So, and it's also good for you to know. And another plus I would like you to note is that I used one thread to sew the frontal all through. So it is best you put enough thread that can sew in the frontal all through or your closure all through. So you're not cutting threads in between or tying in between. This will make it last longer. So this would improve longevity for your frontal or lace sewings. Finally arrived the edge of the right part of the frontal, right end part of the frontal, and I'm rounding up the sewing. So I'd like you to pay attention to how I tied it in the end, how I how I knotted it in the end. So I passed it through, right? And then I double rolled it. So you know you can pass it single and then roll it. All the while I've just been rolling it in a single form. So this time around I double rolled it, right? And then I passed it back under to tie it. So just like I started the beginning with passing under to tie it, same way I ended it. So I passed it under to tie it. So look at this. So I'm going to tie it under the cap. So there is no way you'll see threads flying for this closure. And also the closure would last long. When I mean long, it would the lifespan of the closure is going to be really long because um the lifespan of the closure will be really long because there are no flying threads, so there are no no discomforts or reasons for someone to say, oh, let me tear out this part. So yeah. After tying, I proceeded to cut it. And also on the original video, I was highlighting that at the end of the video, at the end of the wigging process, I'm going to use like a candle or lighter to burn the tip of the thread just to flatten it a little more. So what this is what it looks like after wigging. You see? No thread whatsoever, no knot showing on both sides. So this is a very clean job. So look at what I'm talking about. This is a very clean job. So this is equivalent to a machine sewn wig. Yeah, because machine sewn wig also gives this kind of outlook. So yes, this is equivalent to a machine sewn wig. Another thing I noticed was that the front part of the hair of the wig that I cut out for the frontal, I didn't measure it properly. So now the rest of the body of the wig was kind of too big, but of course I adjusted that part when I was sewing the hair. At this point, I have removed the wig from the cap, from the canvas head, sorry. So I'm going to cut out the excess wig cap, like the part of that covers the part underneath the frontal lace or the lace. I'm going to cut it out. So, but I just want to still show you the tying I spoke to you about. So those are the two tyings at the end. And this was me explaining that I was going to use candle or matches to flatten out, to burn it and flatten it out, but see how neat it is looking. And trust me, I was super proud of the outcome, super, super proud. So what I'm going to do is to cut out the wig cap underneath the lace so that I can now make the rest of the wig. Yeah, so I cut off the excess cap underneath the lace and look at what I'm talking about. So this is quite small. This is not equivalent to the space of the lace. So I was supposed to measure this lace properly before measure the lace on the cap so that I know the um amount of excess cap I'm cutting out. So, but notwithstanding, this is what it looks like now, and I'm also going to make adjustments when I'm making the actual wig. So this is the lace, this is the cap, all MC, all cool, and I'll just proceed to fixing in the bundles on the cap. This is where I begin fixing the bundle on the cap. And like I said, it is very important to have a strong base when sewing. And for all my sewings, every of them would be tied underneath the cap so there are no flying threads. Emphasis on no flying threads because I promise you, flying threads have traumatized me to some extent. All the wigs I made when I wasn't a professional wig maker were like trial and error. Some of them came out nice, but then the fine thread will come out and you'll just be standing there. And no matter the amount of maybe like conditioner you put to weaken the thread and make it flat, threads are not hair, threads are clothes. It will not flatten. It will still stand there. Even when you use water, you just use water to touch it so that it just slip a bit. And when you have time, you can now adjust it and re-wig or sew it. The thread will frustrate you. And if you attempt to cut it so that you can give the wig the beauty it is or it's supposed to have, or to remove the thread that is a distraction because people will not see that, oh, your wig is fine, your wig is fire. The first thing they will see is that your thread, there's thread flying on your hair. And then when you push to cut it, you cut a track and then the track start loosening, or you cut a bunch of thread, or you just make one blunder and automatically you'll not be able to wear that cap for that week. And I that wig cap for that week. And I for one during at those times I used to be on low cost, so I used to wear wigs. So I can tell you for a fact that these these threads traumatize me. So that is the reason why I sew my threads underneath. I don't sew my threads at the surface of the wig. I don't sew my threads anywhere near the surface of the wig cap that can just come out one day and embarrass me. So after doing the strong base on the cap, then I proceeded to fixing the hair bundle on the cap. And this is what it is. And of course, I did not video the full um, wig making video. This part of the video is just for you to see how to put a frontal on a wig cap, or how to sew in a frontal on a wig cap manually. And then the next one will be how to bleach the knot and pluck the frontal. And then the next one will be the glueless um, installation and then styling. So it's going to be three parts. So this is the first part. So, but if you would like to see a video where I made a wig from the scratch, hand sewing, I have them on my channel. So please do well to go down and see the videos I have posted. There's a 2x6 closure video that I made. It's also there. There's a 5x5 closure wig that I made, handmade. It's also there. There's actually a frontal wig that I made. It's also there too. So just do well to go check, see the wigs I put there, the content I put out there, and then you learn from it. Because I just left this as like a bonus, so you see how I'm taking it. But this is not actually, this is not the purpose of this video is not for this part. So, but I just left a little of this part so you can see it. I was making a machine sewn wig, I would have cut the bundles and then continue the next edge. But then I'm not making a machine sewn wig, so there's no and also I'd like a situation whereby I can always make adjustments and all. So I don't cut my bundle that much. I cut it for maybe on a rare occasion. So for this one, I'm just going to pass it through. So I just um bend it, and then I continue on the other tracks. But of course, you feel free to cut if you want to cut yours. Feel free to cut yours. It's actually good to cut when you're making a closure wig, whether a 5x5, a 6x5, or a 2x6, or 2x4, or 4x2. I don't know. Just it's also good to cut it when you're making a closure wig because it flattens the edge. So like I said, in my early days of making wigs, I used to make blonders. Yeah, I've been making wigs since 2019. This year makes it 6 years, 7 maybe. So I because it will start bulging out at the side of your hair. So reason you should cut it so that that particular part of your hair is flat. There's nothing bulging. So, and of course, when it bulges out like that, and you're trying to see how to fix it, and you start to cut it, and you go and cut it, and you cut the thread, it start losing. So it's double problem. So it is good to cut it after when you get to the edge. When you're sewing a closure with whether 6x6, 6x5, 5x5, 4x5, any closure with at all. But because this is a frontal wig, my ear to ear is lace, right? So I can I can escape. Yeah, I can escape cutting it. So, but if it's a closure wig, it is a must that you must cut it. So this brings us to the end part of this video. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. If there are questions you'd like me to answer, feel free to drop the questions in my comment section and I'll answer them. Or send me a DM via the details on my YouTube description. I'm willing to answer. The next video will be pleating the knots, also plucking, and then after that video will be followed by styling and glueless and stuff.